Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new review. And today I'm going to be reviewing the episode The Bottomless Pit, or just called Bottomless Pit. I believe this is the 14th episode of Gravity Falls. Yeah. So let's just get right into the video. So the synopsis. Okay. The episode begins with Grunkle Stan driving the mystery cart with Dipper, Mabel, and Seuss inside to the bottomless pit to dispose of their unwanted items. While Seuss fails to comprehend the pit's alleged bottomless nature, Dipper doubts the existence of a bottomless pit. His skepticism, however, does not stop Stan from throwing down suggestions for improving the Mystery Shack, or Mabel from disposing of love letters from Giddy and Gleeful, and a box of personal mysterious secrets, which is later found out to contain the truth-telling teeth, or Seuss from throwing away his shoes in a barbecue. A windstorm suddenly rolls in, and Dipper instructs the others to go back inside. But Stan ignores him and continues to try to throw out the suggestion cards. Worried, the others hold on to him, but they end up falling down the pit along with him. Gompers then passes by before the theme song begins. In the pit, the group screams for a time, ending with Seuss asking if anyone wants to scream some more. Dipper then asks where they are. Mabel lights up a green glow stick to look around and replies that it looks like they're somewhere that looks like it's nowhere. Stan reasons that they will be stuck in the pit for some time and attempts a card trick to entertain the others, and Mabel cheers even after he fails. Seuss suggests that they tell stories to pass the time. And Dipper, angry with his uncle, opts to tell one about Stan getting them all thrown into the pit, but settles for a story called Voiceover when Mabel encourages them to do better. Okay, here's the first story. Mabel, Seuss, and Wendy are playing a variant of Spin the Bottle called Spin the Pig, in which they spin bottles and whomever his face points at, he or she must kiss him. When the pig points to Sam, who is sitting on the porch nearby, Mabel asks him if he's ever kissed a pig, and Stan says he's not going to answer that. Dipper abruptly, and this story is called Voiceover, by the way. Dipper abruptly enters in a panic, believing that a snake bit him and that he must be taken to hospital stat. Unfortunately, his voice cracks at the end of his exclamation, consequently not being taken seriously by Stan and the others, who explain that it is hard to focus on the seriousness of the situation, with Dipper's voice frequently cracking. Then they play a techno remix of Dipper's voice cracking, which irritates and embarrasses him into taking the tape and storming off. As Dipper walks through town, he is met by Old Man McGucket, who says that he may be able to help Dipper in his problem. At the Gravity Falls junkyard, McGucket explains that he has been experimenting with a voice-altering formula due to his frightening voice that he exhibits by scaring a young child, and gives Dipper a sample of the formula. Dipper drinks it and heads back to the shack. McGucket saying that Dipper will sound like a new man if he survives as he does so. The next morning, Dipper awakes and discovers his new deeper voice, which he tries out and shows to Mabel. His sister does not react as he expected, however, and thinking Dipper's body is being inhabited by a biting switching warlock, hits her brother with a golf club. Dipper explains that he is indeed her brother, albeit with a different voice tone, and goes on to describe the potential benefits he sees, such as prank calls. However, his sister believes it to be a change for the worse, and Seuss reacts in a manner similar to Mabel upon hearing Dipper's new tone, telling the toys present in the gift shop to flee, and hitting Dipper on the head with a broom, yelling that Dipper must be killed with fire. Upset by Mabel and Seuss's responses, Dipper sets out to find his uncle, whom he believes will appreciate his new voice, and goes into town to find him. As he passes Skull Fracture, he is met by Tats, who recognizes Dipper as the perpetrator of the prank call he received from him, and assembles a group of bikers to chase after him. Dipper ducks into the dump to scold Old Man McCucket about what a disaster's invention is, and McCucket explains that Dipper sounds so odd because he gave Dipper the wrong formula. Professional commercial voiceover. McCucket goes on to say that Dipper would have reverted his old voice come sundown, and Dipper, after listening to the appreciation his friends expressed for the uniqueness of his voice at the end of the remix, resolves that he likes his own voice, even if it is ridiculous. Back at the shack, Dipper shows Mabel and Seuss that he's back to normal, which relieves them, and he reveals that he dumped the alternative permanent voice formula into his uncle's coffee. Uncle Stan then walks in with an obnoxious female voice and is laughed at by the others, which he cannot understand. Okay, here's the next one, number 2. Seuss is really great pinball story. Is that a good title? Do they have to be puns or whatever? Seuss is excited that he may get the high score after 4 years of trying while playing a creepy old game of pinball, with the twins cheering him on. After some consideration and annoyance, Seuss takes up Dipper's suggestion to turn tilt the game, which results in Seuss achieving his goal. The pinball machine, however, recognizes that he cheated and zaps Seuss and the twins into the game in a flash of green lightning. After they play around in the machine for a while, the three are confronted by the talking cowboy's skull in the machine, who attempts to punish them for breaking the rules by killing them. They plan to escape by manually turning off the game from inside, with Mabel and Dipper distracting the cowboy's skull by jumping up and down and making annoying noises, but are hindered as Seuss is distracted by a picture of a wench he finds attractive. Dipper reminds Seuss to focus, and the twins carry out their role in the plan, while Seuss rides the minecart into and through the inner mechanisms of the machine. When the twins check on Seuss, they find that he is reluctant to turn off the game, as it will permanently erase all data, including his high score, which he views as his greatest accomplishment. The twins try to reason with Seuss and are interrupted when the cowboy skull discovers their whereabouts and attempts to finish them off. However, Seuss has a change of heart and shuts off the game before he can do so. Seuss, Dipper, and Mabel wake up outside of the machine, where Dipper feels sorry for Seuss for having to lose his high score. Seuss then tells him it's okay because he now has a new life accomplishment, saving the twins' lives. He then asks if they think that Pinball Winch will call him. Back in the pit, Stan decides to tell a story of his own, one that he thinks is much better than what he's heard so far. This one's called Grunkle Stan. Number 3 is called Grunkle Stan Wins the Football Bowl. Stan heads to the end of a football field and scores a winning touchdown. He's thanked by the players for teaching them that old people are incredibly useful. Stan then receives a trophy from a woman he finds to be beautiful, and says that he could not have done it with his robot sidekick and own invention, Footbot. Everyone cheers for Stan as the story ends. Seuss, Dipper, and Mabel disapprove of his story, but Stan believes it was good. Mabel claims she will tell a better story, which is called Truth Inc. Okay, this is number 4. Truth Inc. The Pines are hanging around the Stanmobile as they oversee Manly Dan unload a bear, which Stan plans to teach to drive for an attraction at the Mystery Shack. On the road, the bear drives very poorly as Stan coaches it with false driving tips, and the police pull them over. When Sheriff Blubbs demands an explanation as to why a bear is driving Stan's car, he dishonestly replies that his physician, Dr. Medicine, assigned him a seeing eye bear to drive him to the hospital in case of an emergency, and the sheriff pardons him. Stan then tells the bear, "To the hospital, honey pants," and the bear drives them away. Later at the shack, Stan is spray painting rocks gold to sell to unsuspecting customers as authentic gold nuggets, when Mabel calls him out for lying to the policeman. Stan makes the excuse that by his age one must bend the truth a bit for the greater good, which he shows by lying to Dipper about Seuss possibly knowing where Dipper's plate of spaghetti, which Stan was eating. It is much to Mabel's disgust. Up in the attic, Mabel talks to Waddles about Stan's lying problem and decides to consult Journal 3 about a possible solution for her uncle's dishonesty. She comes across information about a set of truth-telling teeth that render that render uh, that render it impossible for the wearer to lie, and sets out to find them. In the middle of the night, she creeps into Grunkle Stan's bedroom and implants the truth teeth, which shine golden in Stan's mouth, as she then wakes him up to test them out. To her satisfaction, the teeth work, and Stan, not totally getting that something is wrong, goes back to sleep. Mabel tells Dipper what she did at the breakfast table the next morning, and though he initially thinks it to be a horrible idea, experiments to see if Stan will tell the truth, and both twins are disturbed with the set of truth their uncle reveals, such as the fact that he does not wash his hands after using the bathroom. Stan's truth-telling soon grows out of hand, and without a filter, going to the extent of insulting the customer's experience, writing that he commits tax fraud on a tax return, scaring the twins with a talk about death, and so forth. Stan, boundless honesty, quickly grows to annoy the twins, and nearly gets them arrested as he admits to several crimes. And Sheriff Bubbs and Deputy Sterling arrive to interrogate him about seeing Eyebear and the non-existence of Dr. Medicine. Mabel reluctantly lies to cover for her uncle, saying that he is secretly a crime fiction author and was telling them about a character in his upcoming book, and sends the officers away. Mabel is shocked at herself for lying, but Dipper says it was for the greater good, and Stan, still under the tea's influence, calls the police station for an admit to tax fraud before the twins tackle him and stop him. Mabel then removes his teeth from Stan's mouth and disposes of them, along with a box full of other magical items, into the pit, saying she never saw the box again, but then spots it in the pit. Additionally, Sus finds the shoes he got rid of earlier in the episode. Back to reality. Dipper then tells Mabel they already know that story as it just happened to them, and they are currently living through it, which causes Sus to ask how the story ends. Dipper then spots a bright light at the end of the tunnel, and he and the others get closer and closer while screaming. They eventually reach the end of the tunnel, but the group comes out at the top of the pit, right where they had initially fallen in. Dipper checks his watch, and upon checking his watch, noticing that hardly any time has passed, deduces that they must have traveled through a kind of wormhole. When Grunkle Sand's some kind of wormhole. When Grunkle Sand points out the unlikelihood of anybody actually believing them about something like a wormhole, Mabel points out to him, Dipper and Sus, that this is probably better off keeping to themselves, which the guys end up agreeing with them. Stan accidentally falls back into the hole after leaning against a sign and breaking it, and while Mabel and the others do seem worried for him, they quickly realize that he will ultimately be fine. And that was episode 14, Bottomless Pit. I really like this one. I'd give it at least a 4 out of 5, maybe a 4.5 even, maybe even a 5 out of 5. It was really good episode. It wasn't like super good, but it was very good. There definitely were some better episodes, but this is one of the probably one of the best episodes I've seen. But yeah. Well, this has been my review on episode 14 called Bottomless Pit. If you haven't seen this episode, I suggest it because it's a pretty good episode, really good episode. Not perfect, but good. It's good. And I'll see you guys next time for the 15th episode, which is called The Deep End. Wow, we're almost done with this season. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.